I see Sharon's here. She's joined us the last 2 or 3.
First time hearing you.
Wonderful.
Hey, Sharon, glad to have you.
Welcome, welcome.
All righty. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Carrie. I'm Fairfield County's educator here. Today, we're going to be talking about gardening. Tammy's going to do a really cool presentation about that. We're going to share county updates with what's going on as well. So for first off, we can do introductions. We can do the CFLP educators, and then Alexa and Sharon, if you'd like to join in on the conversation, feel free to. If you'd like to do the chat, feel free to as well. But yeah, we'll kick it off. Tammy, go ahead.
Okay, hi, I'm Tammy Rogers, and I'm with Coshocton County Recycling and Litter Prevention. County updates, very excited. I did my very first in-school program last week. The kids were excited, I was excited. It was a small group, about 8. It was an after-school program, but so excited to get back into the classroom, and got a couple more coming up. Of course, we're hot and heavy into our community cleanup days. We've got one at Lake Park, which is kind of a big park complex that we have here in Coshocton County. That will be on April 10th. And then the big Coshocton cleanup is April 17th. And both of those are really well attended by our community. And I know that the litter, unfortunately, now the snow has melted, everybody's seen it, and it's lovely. It's just as pretty as those spring blooms, aren't they? Yeah, drives me crazy. But we're going slow and steady, but kind of picking up speed. This spring feels better than last spring. So I'm hoping it continues to stay the course, and I can get into even more schools and we can get back into some semblance of order. That's what's going on.
Katrina, you want to go next?
Okay, did you want me to do the updates or let Tammy do her presentation and then do the updates later? Or?
We'll do the updates later. Tammy, if you want to jump in, just to make sure we hit it all. I'm going to be grabbing speakers real fast. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, I will jump in. Gonna get started very soon, if you haven't already, with gardening. A lot of people, if they haven't gardened before, because they've been home, they're like, oh, I want to try it. I want to grow some vegetables. I want to do something new out in the yard. Gardening is as simple or as difficult as you wish to make it. In my previous life with OSU Extension, I was the horticulture program assistant and was the kind of the head of the master gardeners for Coshocton County. So gardening it's something I do. It's kind of intuitive to me. And I think if you talk to any gardeners, you will find that intuitively, we are recyclers, we are savers, we are always constantly thinking of ways to use what we have. So this kind of falls in line. I've got about 5 or 6 tips that people can take with them to maybe you already know these, maybe these are new, maybe it's something you've never thought about, but a few little gardening tips as we move into this season. The first one is something we all struggle with all season long, and that is weeds, right? And weeds in our flower beds. An easy way to cut down on some of those weeds in your flower beds is by simply putting down 2 or 3 sheets of just regular old newspaper. And this is before you put your mulch down. So you put the newspaper down on the ground, or you can even use paperboard, like a Kleenex box that you flatten out, or cardboard if you need something really heavy duty to lay down if you've got an area that is really particularly weedy and you need something that's going to last longer. The great thing about using paper, paperboard, cardboard is that it breaks down naturally in the soil. Worms love to eat it, so do a lot of other little critters, and it decomposes and goes right back into the soil as organic matter, which can only better your soil. You place the mulch on top of that, it's going to be, there, it kind of eliminates the need to use some of those weed suppressing chemicals. Preen is one that comes to mind. Preen is a great product, but you don't want to use it in your vegetable gardens per se. And if you've got perennial weeds that come back, have a root system that lasts year after year, the preen is not going to kill those weeds. It only makes seeds not germinate. So it will stop the germination of seeds, but it won't stop dandelions, chickweed, a lot of our weeds that are prevalent in our flower beds that continue to grow year after year. So think about using some of those as a weed barrier. Speaking of things breaking down into the soil, like your paper and cardboard, compost. I have just a little bag. I wish I could do some more show and tell. Maybe I can. I don't know if everybody can see. That is dark, delicious worm compost. You can do a worm bin. That's pretty easy, but a whole nother topic. A really easy thing to do, if you haven't already done it, is start a compost pile. People, I'm telling you, we throw away about 1/4 of our household trash as Americans, as humans, is food waste, right? Coffee grounds, tea bags, eggshells. Thank you. Good job, Katrina. Yep. Strawberry tops. When I talk to kids, I always say, who likes strawberries? Who likes corn on the cob? Who likes eggs? And there's hands. Oh, I love it. Yeah. And then I say, well, what do you do with the eggshells? Do you eat them? Now I'll get this confused look on her face. Oh, no, we throw those away. Why are we throwing stuff away? This is completely biodegradable material that is good for our earth. And instead of throwing it in a trash bag, in a plastic bag that goes to a landfill that sits there and betters nothing, start a compost pile. Very simple to do. Again, I could go on forever. I've composted for over 30 years. So nothing surprises me when I lift the lid on my compost bin. I know to knock before I do that, because you get critters, you get bugs. But that's a whole nother thing. But definitely, contact me, contact Katrina, contact any of us about some good compost resources about how to start one of those, because literally we are throwing these nutrients away that could be going back to our soil and to our plants. If your soil is good, it's less fertilizer that you have to use, it's less water you have to use, you have happier plants. I could go on forever about composting. I won't. The next tip I have, seed starting. A lot of people like to start seeds in the springtime. It's getting to be that time to be starting some. It's still a little early for a lot of stuff, but if you like to play, this is a great thing to do with kids. But why do you buy the peat pots at the store? Who's got toilet paper rolls? Who's got paper towel rolls? We've got this stuff right here. Now, we just talked about this. What happens to that paper over time? It biodegrades. So you can literally take your compost, pour it, and all I've done is kind of just pleated that one bottom, and then you've got the opening. You can put your compost directly in there, or your seed starting mix. And then a lot of times I will use a cup carrier that we get when you go through the drive-through. Now you can certainly recycle this, but it's also great to use as a holder for your little seed starters. Or anytime you get these, this one isn't a cup holder, but it came with an appliance that I purchased. Paper towel rolls are great because you can actually you can get 3 or 4 seed pots out of this little guy. It's so simple. I've seen many other how-tos on taking newspaper and making little seed starting pots. And then when these seedlings are ready to be planted, all you have to do is kind of score the edges or make some breaks in it so that their little roots can come out easily. and you can put the whole thing right in the garden. It's perfect, and it all just biodegrades and goes away. After you've started your seeds, oh, forgot. How about one of these guys? These are great for seed starting as well. It's got a clear lid, so it kind of acts like a greenhouse. You put your soil in here, moisten your soil, start your seeds, and then you can kind of close it. You might have to prop it up in case it gets too hot, but this really helps keep the moisture in. And there it is. You're reusing this, and this can just simply be rinsed out and reused from year to year. Because a lot of times these things are not recyclable, unfortunately. They're great products when we take out food, but who amongst us doesn't have a lot of takeout containers in our house? I know my husband hollers at me because ours is literally falling out of the cupboard when you open the cupboard door. So we don't need any more of this stuff. So good seed starting tools that you can reuse over and over again. When you start your seeds, you might want to put tags in them so that you remember what seeds are which, because seedlings, when they're this big, one looks like another, easy to forget. How about using yogurt cups, sour cream cups, that kind of thing, butter dishes? Just simply cut them into pieces, and then you can just write what it is, write the date you started it. We have these at our disposal. They're not going to blow away. They're going to, stick them down in the soil. They're usually got some sharper edges so you can stick it down into the soil, and it works fantastic. You don't have to buy plant tags. You can simply reuse it. You can also use, now usually you get them in packs of 3, right? Fork, spoon, knife. How many knives do we have just laying around in our drawers and so forth? Because nobody really needs the knife, and it really is useless pretty much anyway. So you can use this, just write on it, stick it, it's serrated, so it'll go right in the soil, stick it in the ground. There you go. There's your plant tag. Very easy. And everybody should know by now, these guys are not recyclable. Do not put single-use plasticware in the recycling bin. That's a big no. Red Solo cups or any kind of Solo cups. Again, you can just make slices out of those and use those as plant tags as well. So we're gonna, maybe we can't recycle some of this plastic, but we can certainly reuse it in our garden areas, and it's not that big of a deal. You spent no money whatsoever. Oh, okay. So then your plants are growing, your tomatoes are growing. You've got a new tree in the yard that needs staked and tied. Why buy special materials to stake and tie your plants? Yeah, of course they look pretty. Yeah, of course we all want new, nice things in our yard and garden. But if you've got an old pair of socks, how about pantyhose that have a rip in them? I know I don't ever wear pantyhose, but some people still do. But those are things, as they're old, instead of throwing them away, pieces of old t-shirts, you can use this in the garden to use as garden ties to stake up your plants. And instead of buying fancy stakes, a lot of times this time of year, we are finding lots of sticks and kind of bigger sized branches in our yard. That gives kind of a natural look. That way you can stake up, your peonies don't get floppy. You can stake those up with some natural branches, and people don't even notice because it looks very natural in the garden. So think about those things that we can use. We can use nature in the garden to help our plants grow and thrive and get bigger and not be all floppy everywhere. And last thing, I guess, end of the season, some people like to gather their seeds at the end of the year, or maybe your neighbor has a pretty annual plant that you really like cleome or marigold or something, and they say, oh, well, I'll get you some seeds for that. Instead of buying fancy packets or using plastic baggies, collect your junk mail envelopes, your return envelopes that we get in our junk mail. reuse those for seeds. And actually, when we're keeping our seeds from year to year, plastic bags are not so good to keep seeds in because they can hold moisture, which can cause the seeds to rot. So using something like a paper envelope is actually going to keep those nice and dry and allow that air circulation to go through. And there's plenty of room to write down what it is, where it came from, what year you harvested it, what color it is, all the pertinence that you would need to know in order to collect those seeds and then plant them the next year. Because trust me, you never remember from one year to the next what those seeds were. I have to write down all the information I possibly can. So that's just about 5 or 6 tips of just simple ways that we can better our garden and do it not only environmentally, but do it frugally too, because gardeners as a whole are usually frugal people, I think. Cheap and lazy. That's the kind of gardening I like to do. So that's it. And I will take any questions people have. If we have time.
We have plenty of time. We're good right now.
I like zoomed through that, right?
You did great. I think I never thought about yogurt containers or like plastic knives. I'm starting to get more serious with gardening right now. That's genius.
Don't get too serious though, because gardening, there's a lot of room for play. It should always be fun.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So I'm like, wow, that's smart. You just never know.
You don't.
It's creative.
Listen to other people that garden, because they've got way more tips and tricks than I do. I'm sure of it. So we all have our little things that we love to do.
Just mind blown. I'm ready to plant one out at the recycling center. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And these are good tips, people. Like, great tips. Well, we'll jump to county news. So, Verdi, you're up next on my list. So, if you want to share what's going on in Licking.
I am Verdi Abel with Licking County Recycling. It is kind of a transitional time of the year, as everyone's pointing out. We're kind of hopefully going to get into some schools here. I've had a few contacts for the month of May, but of course everything's a moving target, whether or not we can do that. But I've got a few things on the calendar. It's also cleanup season because the snow is gone and the trash is there. It's everywhere, and I think everyone sees that. And we do have, as I think most counties have, we have cleanup supplies that can be borrowed. We have borrow a backpack program, and in our backpacks we have the nitrile gloves, we have the recycling bags, we have trash bags, we have safety vests, first aid kit, all set up for a nonprofit, a school club, a scout group, whatever, to go out and clean up in an area. So all anyone has to do is contact us. It's very simple. Give us a simple report at the end, and all free. And we help people clean up our community and make it a little bit better place to live, of course. So that's out there. One of the things I've got going on in the immediate future, I think I told everyone about the shamrock earrings last week or last meeting. I don't see my sheet for the shamrock earrings. I know they're around, but we did shamrock earrings out of green soda bottles. Not a huge hit, but we gave away, our supply. Well, since Easter is coming up, we have Easter bunnies out of steel tin cans, complete with a bunny tail on the back. Pretty simple, just painted up some color, some soup cans, whatever cans you've got, pom-poms and whatnot, pipe cleaner ears, and it's candy cup for jelly beans or whatever. So I've kind of got a standard format for an instruction sheet. Starts off with some information about steel cans and recycling, safety stuff, how to proceed, usually a few illustrations. This one's pretty simple, but contact information. I have not in the past put anything on the back, but I like to double copy if I can, or double side. So I'm going to come up with something to go on the back. We'll distribute those starting tomorrow and see how it goes. They aren't all pink. I have blue, I have yellow, I have gray. So, they'll have coordinating ears and whatnot, but another way to get that message out to folks and hopefully instill a little bit of a recycling culture or philosophy, starting with young people. So that's kind of on my horizon right at the moment, and see how that goes. Reaching out to some of the library branches in the community, and they have some of their summer reading programs on the horizon. One in Licking County is focusing on animals and circus animals, maybe. I'm a little in the dark on specifics, but we're going to do some kind of craft with them. So as kids, you know, again, get engaged with reading for the summer. So have some things going on, but it's not quite the traditional starting in April, you know, with Earth Day and whatnot. It's still pretty passive as far as schools and scouts and whatnot goes. Everyone's hearing the same news I am. This could all open up certainly by next year. Whether or not it happens at the end of this school year, I seriously doubt it. But there are things on the horizon where we can have that compromise of a meeting versus Zoom or whatever. So there's things out there that's happening sooner than later. So that's kind of, you know, in a nutshell, what's going on in Licking County. We're trying to find a couple of new sites for bins, and we're doing away with the site. I think I brought that up before, our Johnstown site. They requested it to be taken away. So a few things on the other side of our recycling office. I take care, of course, the education stuff. So get a little bit going on both sides. If anyone has any questions, you can chat with your keypad or jump in and ask questions. That'd be fantastic. Thanks.
I'm looking for Carrie.
Yep, it's you. I was on mute. Sorry. Go ahead, Katrina.
No. Like Tammy and Verdi said, you know, all 4 counties, obviously, this is the time of year we're really encouraging everyone to take that personal responsibility and get out there and do litter cleanups, encourage groups, you know, any youth group out there. We have the materials available to help with your cleanup effort. Do the buddy system, work together, watch for the weird stuff, you know, be sure to stay safe, but there's no reason why we can't get out there and help pick up this litter that's along the roads. We are wrapping up our scholarship judging with a team of judges from our Perry County community that are helping to pick our top 3 high school students that submitted for the oral history defining reuse scholarship project. I guess I see the message going beyond the project that the youth did. There's just, you know, a handful of people that get involved in this, but the message that they have to share in the short video, or not video, but the short oral recording and the 300-word essay, that will kind of be out there until next year, promoting next year's project. So we as adults and we as other people in our communities, wherever we are, thank goodness for social media and all the virtual stuff we can do, we can learn from what these young people learned by talking to these elders that were living in a day that things were really hard to come by. That's the whole purpose of the project. So we have $2,000 for first place. We had so many donations and such good support. We'll have that much for first, and second and third is going to shake out, you know, at right around $800 and $500 as well. So anyway, that project is wrapping up. So maybe next month we can announce who those top 3 are. We're promoting a Green School Challenge that's really going to start hitting the ground as we speak. I'm keying in on the 3rd grade level because that's a big unit that the teachers in the 3rd grade teach about finite resources and understanding renewable and non-renewable resources. We're also looking at a question, actually, I wanted to answer. I got an email back when I was promoting people to invite to the Zoom today. One of our local guys asked a question about why do we, it's hard to wrap your brain around this, and I understand this. In our recycling center, we want everything dumped in the containers loose, no tied bags, because that slows down the process of getting all those materials out on the floor and into the pit and up the conveyor belt where it can be sorted into the different materials. And I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but this is kind of how our system works on our floor at Perry County. There's Brian, that's the roll off on the trailer. And you can see the pile behind Brian that kind of accumulates above the pit before it goes up the conveyor. And then you can kind of see how it dumps onto the floor. Can you kind of see that? So in answer to what one of our guys was asking, you can see all the materials. If there's bags with knots, it just slows down the process of getting to all those bottles and cans. So that's why we asked that there are no tied bags. Of course, if you have shredded paper, you want to bag that because we don't want a bazillion little tiny pieces flying everywhere. So it's confusing, and we don't mean it to be. Just keep it simple, get it in the bin, dump it in loose, just make it the right materials. That's the biggest thing. We want the right materials, not the wrong materials. And there's other things going on, but I want to allow for Carrie to share what she has going on. And if anybody has questions, one thing I did want to say, Heidi Milner is on. Hi, Heidi. She's Roseville. She's kind of the driving force to curbside recycling project that they're hoping to get started within the village of Roseville. So if any of you guys have questions, feel free to email any of us or ask us now. Like Verdi and everybody else said, tell us in the chat what you need, and we'll let Carrie share what they have going on as well before we run out of time.
All right, so we're around 9-minute mark, so I'll be brief, and that way we can all just kind of chit chat and have questions. A lot of stuff's getting ready to happen at the recycling center. We just finished up our 3rd grade billboard contest. We're in the judging phase now, so once that's established, judging ends this week. So we'll be posting our billboard in downtown Lancaster. So we're really excited about that. We're gonna have a lot of events happening in April, the end of March. Well, next time we log on, I'll be Carrie Murphy and not Carrie Hunt anymore. So there's that going on. So March is the end of the recycling education task, is kind of fizzling out for this week. But then in April, we're really kicking off strong. We're gonna have a lot of events. For starters, we're doing an event all month for to celebrate litter cleanup month. High schoolers are going to design a couple coloring contest pages, and then elementary students are able to draw it, bring it to the recycling center, and they will be receiving a prize. We're participating in ECA's family Easter egg hunt. So how families are going to do in Fairfield County, or if any county wants to participate, if anybody listening, come to the recycling center. You can get a packet for your elementary age student. It'll be filled with fun recycling activities, littering tips and knowledge, and cleanup bags and things like that. So it's a really cool packet we're putting on for that Easter egg hunt. We're also be putting on our Earth Day packets. We're going to be handing them out at the recycling center on the 22nd and 23rd of April. They will have tons of information on being sustainable during the pandemic, Earth Day, just general knowledge. We're partnering up with a lot of organizations to fill these packets up with great knowledge, great information. What else? We're also doing preschool in the parks with Alley Park. We're going to be doing some presentations and activities with preschool age students. That'll be happening the 6th, 8th, and 9th of April. I know they're filled up, but Alley Park always has presentations going on. So if you're listening and you're in the Fairfield district, follow their page, and you can always see different major activities that they have scheduled there. We're still collecting bottle caps. We will always be collecting bottle caps, so keep bringing them in. And then the next event, which we're really excited for, we're partnering up. Well, we partnered with the parks and Fairfield County's Board of DD, and we're in a lot of organizations, and we're all putting on an event. It's called Seeds of Change. It'll be happening Saturday, April 24th from noon to 4. And eventually what the day is going to look like, it's a day to celebrate conservation and just to celebrate Earth. So we're going to have about 10 to 15 vendors sitting outside, all separate, where people can come, walk through, learn about maple tapping, learn about beekeeping, recycling. It's going to be a really cool event. It's also a Kickstarter to Lancaster Park's Arboretum. They're doing the Orchard Hill Arboretum. They were asking for trees and people were donating, and enough people donated. They surpassed 150 trees the last time I checked of donations, which now makes them a tier 2, I believe. Don't quote me on this, Arboretum. So we're going to be celebrating that. So that's going to be the main celebration, which is perfect for Earth Day, Arbor Day. So that'll be happening on the 24th. You'll be seeing a lot of posts on that. We're hoping it'll be a good day, sunny day, but rain or shine, we're going to have the event. So that's what we've been working on here. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, let us know. I know Earth Day, our next Recycler Roundtable will be April 15th. So we'll be talking definitely about Earth Day. Katrina will be doing a presentation on that. But a lot of good things are happening in Fairfield County and the other counties. So we hope we see you guys at our events and go from there. But if anybody has questions, let me know. If not, great job, guys.
So Carrie, since you're becoming a Murphy, don't you need some shamrock earrings to complement your wedding dress?
I think it would definitely compliment. You know what? You send them over and I will rock. I can't say I will rock them on the day. I'll rock them on the honeymoon. How's that?
Okay, that's a deal.
Need a lot of shamrocks now, and that's will be a Murphy. But yeah, so my name will be changing, so you can start emailing me at KMurphy now. Weird.
We'll be excited. We're excited for you.
Congratulations.
I'm excited. I'm ready for it to be here. But so I'm just trying to make sure everybody knows my name's going to be changing and getting that established. I'm like, man, the whole time I've been here, it's been, well, obviously it's been Carrie Hunt. That's what everybody knows me as, so it's weird. Well, alrighty, folks. I think that's it. If anybody has questions, feel free to email us, contact us. We're pretty easy to find, I feel.
You can put something in chat right now. We've got like 3.5 minutes if someone has a question really quickly.
Yep.
We'll take questions.
Feel free. But yeah.
If anyone knows anyone out there that wants to borrow a paper recycling kit, we're doing those. Lend out. You know, usually that's a big thing I'm involved in the classroom, like some of you guys are as well. And the idea of lend out, give out packets and lend out kits, it's the way to go, I guess, for this go round this year.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, but we'll just keep, and all those caps that you're saving for those special youth projects, remember, most every container they come off of is a bottle or a jug that's probably recyclable and accepted for recycling in each of our counties. Bam.
Denise wants to know if your paper kit's only in Perry County, what county are you in? And I'm sure what county you're in, we can get something established too. We're pretty flexible and trying to be creative and get projects going out for classrooms and for organizations and things of that nature. So just let us know and we'll reach out to you then.
So I see Dennis put a question out. I'm not sure I followed the question on the chat. So Dennis.
Yeah, but just the kits you have, Katrina, are those just in Perry County or are they all across the state?
Oh, good question. Yeah, they're pretty much designed to come and pick up locally at our Perry County office. But I can probably figure out a pretty useful tutorial per se on how to create your own makeshift recycling kit of your own for your own projects. It's mostly all reused materials anyway.
Okay, great.
You guys say something, Rudy?
Feel free to email any of us. Our information's pretty easy to find. We can steer you in the right direction if you're in a different county or whatever it is. We're all here to help.
Of course, we're focusing on the county that we've been assigned to do. Look what Verdi has there.
Yeah, we're politically bounded by counties, so, but we can steer you to the right direction, certainly.
Absolutely. We'll help you any way we can, Dennis. And anyone else out there?
Yep.
All right. Well,
Less than a minute.
I was gonna say the warning popped up. All right, you guys. Well, thank
is
you.
it a wrap?
Yep, that's a wrap. Thank you all so much for attending today, and we will see you on April 15th at noon. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks.